Amara stood at the hospital entrance in pain, rain falling heavily around her. The contractions ripped through her. She sucked in a sharp breath, gripping the metal railing beside the steps. 9 months, full term, twin girls. Her body had chosen tonight. Breathe, she whispered to herself. Another wave built fast and hard. She closed her eyes and rode it out. When it eased, she forced herself upright and sat upright. Contractions 4 minutes apart. She had already told the nurse. A room was being prepared. She was alone. The glass doors slid open again. Daniel walked in, shaking rain from his jacket. His gaze swept the lobby, then stopped on her. He crossed the floor and stood directly in front of her. "Where is my Rolex?" Amara looked up slowly. "Daniel, I'm in labor." "I didn't ask that." His voice was flat. You took my watch when you left. I want it back." "I'm having contractions, please." "I don't care. You walked out of my house with it. Where is it?" "Daniel, please, you're about to deliver my children and you still can't answer one simple question. Where is my watch?" Another contraction slammed into her. She doubled forward, a raw sound escaping her throat. He didn't move. "When you're done," he said, "you can answer me." She lifted her head, eyes steady despite the pain. "You just called my daughters a performance." Immediately, he grabbed her throat desperately. The waiting room exploded, screaming, chairs scraping. 2 nurses vaulted the station desk. Daniel held on, jaw locked, calling her a thief, listing everything she had cost him, while Amara gripped his wrist with both hands. He's the contraction still tearing through her at the exact same moment. "Hey!" One word. Daniel turned. The man standing 3 feet away was Korean, 32, sharp jaw, dark, steady eyes carrying the stillness of someone who had never needed noise to be dangerous. Black fitted shirt, dark trousers. He had been at the hospital for a checkup and was on his way out. He was no longer on his way out. He looked at Daniel's hand around her throat, then at Daniel's face. "Remove your hand, now. This is between me and my—" Jaewon grabbed Daniel's arm and pulled it away in one clean motion, then shoved him, both palms, hard, and Daniel stumbled back and hit the wall. Amara collapsed forward. 2 nurses caught her. Air flooded back into her lungs, but another contraction hit immediately, the worst yet. And she cried out fully, the sound carrying through the entire corridor. "We need delivery right now," the nurse said urgently. "Move, everyone move." Wheelchair. Medical staff surrounding her. The delivery room doors closed behind her in seconds. Daniel pushed off the wall. "I'm not finished." "You are finished," Jaewon said quietly. He nodded once. 2 large men appeared and moved Daniel toward the exit with a quiet efficiency that allowed no debate. Daniel cursed. He threatened. The doors closed behind him. Jaewon looked at the delivery room door, then walked to the waiting area and sat down. Hours passed. Jaewon did not pace. He sat with his hands folded, watching the corridor. A young nurse stopped when she saw him still sitting there. "Are you here for the Nigerian lady who came in earlier?" she asked carefully. "Yes," he said. She lowered her voice. "Sir, we lost both babies. The twins didn't make it. She is stable physically, but she has been completely alone since she arrived. Not one person has come." Jaewon said nothing for a moment. "Thank you for telling me," he said quietly. He sat with it. Still. He thought about being 21 years old outside a room very much like this one, and a doctor walking out and knowing before a single word was spoken that the 2 people he loved were not coming back through that door. He closed his eyes briefly, then opened them. 3 hours later, Daniel returned. Colder. Composed. He went straight to her room and closed the door. Amara lay in the bed like everything had been emptied out of her. Dark skin ashen under the lighting, eyes fixed on the ceiling. Tears dried on her face.
So much.
Daniel placed a folder on the bed.
We're gonna get through this.
Divorce papers. Sign tonight. Silence. "Amara, you came back," she said quietly. "Sign the papers. You will not return to my house. You will not use my name. You will not contact my family. The girls are gone, Daniel." Her voice didn't rise. "Your daughters are gone, and you are in this room talking to me about papers."
I signed that papers,
Sign them.
Amara. I'm tired.
"Do you feel anything?"
I hate you,
she
Daniel.
asked. Anything at all?
Sign.
Because it's a
"I
girl's
feel like I
wedding.
married
You
someone
treated me
who
like
stole from
trash.
me and cost me more than she was
done
ever
with
worth."
this.
Please, calm down.
He placed a pen on the folder. "Sign." She reached for the pen. Her hand trembled so badly she held it with both hands. She signed. Daniel took the folder, dropped her travel bag beside the bed, walked out without looking back, not once. Outside, Jae-won watched him button his coat and walk to the exit like a man leaving a meeting he had already forgotten. Something moved in Jae-won's jaw. He looked at her closed door, then walked quietly to the billing desk and paid her bill without telling anyone. He got in his car, sat there for 40 seconds, got back out. He found her at the discharge desk, travel bag at her feet, standing straight, chin up, running on pride and nothing else. "Where are you going?" he asked. "Back to work. I am fine." "You are not fine."
Follow me.
"I said I'm fine.
Please leave me
My
alone.
driver will
I'm
take you
fine.
somewhere safe, that is all.
I'm
I don't
safe.
know you. My name is
just wanna
Jae-won.
help.
Now you know me. Let's go." She looked at him, at the exit, at her bag. She took 3 steps toward the door and nearly went down. Her legs caught her at the last second. She stopped, stood still, stared at the exit doors. A long silence. "Okay," she said. The house was enormous, white stone and glass, a fountain at the entrance. Inside, double staircase, high ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows looking out over all of Los Angeles. The kind of house that doesn't need to announce its wealth. He showed her a room on the 2nd floor. King bed, white linen, private bathroom, a window that held the whole city below like a painting. He called Mrs. Park, small, warm, efficient, a woman who had seen everything and judged very little. "Take care of her," Jae-won said. Then he went to his room. Amara sat on the edge of the bed and pressed both palms flat on the linen. For the first time in a long time, she felt safe. She sat with it until sleep came. 2 mornings later, she came downstairs ready for work. Mum Park put breakfast in front of her without being asked. "Thank you," Amara said softly. "Eat first," Mrs. Park said and patted her hand. She ate. Her phone vibrated. "Your employment has been terminated effective immediately. Misconduct. A formal complaint has been filed." She read it twice, put the phone down, walked upstairs. She opened the bathroom cabinet. Her hand moved slowly toward the bottles inside. Jae-won was passing in the corridor. The silence behind the door was the wrong kind. He knocked. "Amara?" Nothing. "Open this door." The door opened. She was at the open cabinet, eyes empty in a way that said everything. He walked in, took her by the shoulders and turned her firmly away. "Look at me, right now." She looked at him, her eyes filled. "That man is not worth a single drop of your blood," he said. "He grabbed your throat while you were in labor. He served you divorce papers the night you lost your daughters. He called your children a performance." He held her shoulders. "Why would you give him your life on top of everything else he already took? He does not deserve your tears. He does not deserve you." She broke, loudly, deeply, everything locked up for weeks arriving all at once. Jae-won stood in front of her and let it come without rushing a single second of it. When it slowed, he said, "Get dressed, we are going out." "I can't, I know. Get dressed anyway." They sat across from each other at a quiet Koreatown restaurant. Low light, good food. Halfway through the meal, he set down his chopsticks. "My wife died giving birth," he said. "My child the same day. I was 21. Amara looked up. "I sat outside a room just like the one they took you into. When the doctor came out, I already knew." He paused. "That is why I could not walk past what I saw in that hospital." "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I'm telling you because you have been carrying too much alone for too long." She held his gaze. Then she told him. Lagos. A family who believed a good marriage was a closed question. Daniel's charm in the beginning, and how completely it collapsed the moment a scan showed twin girls instead of sons. "Before I left," she said steadily, "I took his Rolex. I knew he would cut every account the moment I walked out. I needed money for the babies, a crib, formula, anything. I was going to pay him back." She paused. "I am not ashamed. I was protecting my children the only way I had left." Jae-won was quiet. Then, "I want you to come and work for me." She stared. "What?" "Corporate strategy. You don't panic. You read situations. You see what others miss. It is not charity. You will earn everything." Something broke open on her face. Not sadness, relief. The deep kind that comes when a door opens exactly when you stopped expecting any doors. She stood up and hugged him. Her arms were simply around him before the decision fully formed. He paused 1 second. Then his arms came up and held her. "Thank you," she said into his shoulder. "Don't thank me yet." But there was warmth in it. "You start Monday." She pulled back and laughed. Fully, suddenly, real. He smiled, small and quiet. "Let's go home." he said. The next morning, Amara was up before 7, blue skirt, white shirt, pressed carefully, hair brushed. She looked in the mirror and nodded once. She was halfway down the staircase when his voice came from the foyer. "Amara, we are late." He was already at the door, jacket on, keys in hand. "I'm coming!" She gripped the banister and ran down the last few steps. He looked at her, top to bottom, back up. "You look professional," he said. "Was that a compliment?" "It was an observation. Come on." She smiled and followed him out. Park and Associates International, top 4 floors of a Century City tower. The moment Jae-won walked through the lobby, the building adjusted. Assistants straightened, conversations dropped. Amara walked beside him and said nothing but took in everything. By mid-morning, the boardroom was in crisis, a $43 million overseas deal collapsing. Mr. Frederick, head of international partnerships, was on his feet. Mr. Han, the CFO, firing numbers back across the table. Nobody solving anything. Amara sat at the edge of the table and read the documents quietly. "Mr. Frederick," she said. The room stopped. "The penalty clause in Section 14 was mistranslated from the Korean original. It overstated projected losses. The penalty has not been triggered. Send the partner company a corrected breakdown with the original clause, and this deal does not collapse." Silence. Mr. Frederick looked at the document, then at Mr. Han. Mr. Han said quietly, "She's right." The deal was saved in 4 hours, $43 million back on the table. In the corridor afterward, Jae-won walked beside her. "Good work today. I told you I could do it." "You did. I like being right about people." She looked at him sideways. "Is that your version of a compliment?" "It is my version of the truth." But the corner of his mouth moved. She shook her head and kept walking. 1 week in and the office was fully talking. Anna sat at her desk and felt it the way you feel weather before it arrives. 3 years she had been here. She had made herself useful, visible, indispensable. She had positioned herself carefully in Jae-won's world and waited with the patience of someone who understood men like him don't move quickly. Now there was a woman who had been here 7 days. 7 days, Anna thought, watching Amara cross the office with a file under her arm, and he consults her before the senior partners. 7 days and the way he looks at her. Like Anna had never once been looked at in 3 years. It won't last, she told herself. He feels responsible for her. Once that wears off, I am still here. 3 years of loyalty. I just need one real moment. One evening where he remembers what is standing right in front of him. She picked up her phone and messaged him. Tokyo subsidiary rebranding proposal. Extensive documents. Would it be easier to review them somewhere private? She could come to his home that evening. His reply, "Fine, 8 o'clock." Anna leaned back and smiled. Across town, Daniel opened Instagram. A photo. 3 days ago. Amara in the Century City lobby laughing. Dark skin, luminous, back straight. A blazer he had never bought for her. Looking like a woman who had been handed back something that always belonged to her. He stared at the photo. Jaw tight. Put the phone face down and sat in the quiet with what that felt like. 2 weeks and a rhythm had formed between Amara and Jae-won without either designing it. He said "Good morning, my love" once quietly in the kitchen. She looked up surprised and said it back just as quietly. Mrs. Park smiled into the dish she was washing. In the office, he introduced her to a visiting partner as the sharpest strategic mind in the building. She looked at him across the table, and he held the look without blinking. At a business gala, Mr. Channing made a comment about her rapid rise with condescension tucked neatly inside pleasantness. Jae-won turned to him. "Be very careful how you speak about my executive, Mr. Channing." The conversation ended immediately. Late Tuesday, empty office, heels off under the table. He had ordered food without asking and chosen exactly what she would have wanted. "How did you know?" she asked. "I pay attention. I have been paying attention since the hospital." "That's slightly terrifying," she said. "Is it?" "A little," he smiled. "Eat your food." She laughed. One Thursday at dinner, she laughed at something he said, and the sound stopped him mid-sentence. He looked at her openly and said, "You are beautiful when you laugh." She went quiet. "I don't say things I don't mean," he added. "I know," she said softly. "That is what makes it hard to hear." He reached across and covered her hand with his. She turned her hand over and held it. That night in the upstairs corridor, he held her face in both hands and kissed her. Slowly, deliberately, without performance. She kissed him back with everything she had been holding. That was how it started. A rival company moved quietly against Park and Associates, whispers in the right ears. The boardroom convened. Mr. Frederick wanted legal action. Mr. Han wanted a counter-campaign. Amara said, "Don't react. Go directly to every partner they are targeting. Personal meetings. Remind them of our record. One clean public statement. Let results speak." Jaewon looked at her. "Do it." 72 hours. Stock climbed. 2 partners returned. The media shifted. Monday morning, full board. Jaewon stood at the head of the room. "From today, Amara is head of corporate strategy." Silence. Then applause that meant, "We did not predict this, and we cannot dispute it." In the office afterward, he crossed the room and kissed her forehead. "You did this," he said. "Thank you for believing I could," she whispered. "I knew from the beginning," he said. Wednesday, headache behind her eyes all morning. Jaewon stopped in her doorway. "So, go home, my love." "I'm fine. My love, go home." In the car, she thought about dates, counted backward, stopped. She told the driver to stop at the pharmacy. She walked down the aisle, found the pregnancy tests, stood in front of them with her heart doing something complicated. She picked up 2 boxes, paid, got back in the car. At home, Mrs. Park had tea ready. Amara sat with it 30 seconds, then took the pharmacy bag upstairs, sat on the edge of the bath, opened the box, and waited. 3 minutes. She picked it up. Positive. She sat completely still. Then she laughed, suddenly, fully, and immediately started crying, both at the same time, hands pressed over her mouth, sitting on the bathroom floor because the feeling was too large for anywhere else. Something was being given back, something she believed was gone permanently. She washed her face 4 times, went downstairs. "Mrs. Park," steady voice, eyes still red. "Please prepare something special for dinner. He is coming home and I have news." Mrs. Park looked at her face, understood everything, and smiled without a single word. Amara went back to her room, picked up a book, was asleep in 15 minutes, the pregnancy test on the nightstand, a quiet smile still on her face. Anna arrived at the house at 8. She stood in the foyer and looked around with wide eyes she allowed herself before composing her face. The ceilings, the art. Of course, she thought. Of course this is where he lives. The proposal presentation was real, and she had prepared it properly. He engaged with it, asked sharp questions, gave real feedback. When the documents were done, she said softly, "Jaewon." He looked at her. "I have wanted to tell you something for a long time. I think you know how I feel. And I think you feel something too. You just haven't let yourself." She kissed him. She was warm and close, and had chosen every word carefully, and in the low light, off guard, his resistance moved slower than the moment. She pressed further. Things moved faster than either of them managed. They moved to the bedroom. Amara woke from her nap feeling a pull she could not name. The specific restlessness of someone carrying good news too large to hold alone. She looked at the pregnancy test on the nightstand and picked it up. She went downstairs. Sitting room, empty. Study, empty. She went upstairs. She heard something. She stopped outside the bedroom door, raised her hand to knock. She pushed it open instead. The lamp was on. Jaewon was there. Anna was there. Neither of them had clothes on. Anna grabbed the bedsheet and yanked it over herself. Amara stood in the doorway. The pregnancy test was in her hand. "Oh my God," she said, barely above a whisper, the sound a person makes when something lands in the chest before the mind catches up. She looked at Jaewon. He was already sitting up, something broken open in his face, urgent and unguarded in a way she had never once seen from him. "Amara!" She turned and walked, fast down the corridor, down the staircase, hand on the front door. "Amara!" His voice behind her, closer, moving fast. She stopped with her hand on the door and turned around, eyes full, jaw tight, the pregnancy test still in her hand. Anna appeared at the top of the staircase wrapped in the bedsheet and had, for once, the sense to say nothing. I came home to tell you something," Amara said, crying, the kind of steady that exists right before things break. "I had something I wanted to tell you tonight." He looked at the test, then at her face. He took one step toward her. "Amara." "Let me explain, please." "No, you don't have to explain. I blame myself for opening my legs for you." "What do you think happened later? Will Amara abort the baby or will their love rekindle back? Drop your thoughts in the comments section and comment part 2 for the next video.
Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.